When I look around at all the entrepreneurs who are grinding it out, spending 70 to 80 hours per week growing their business, you have to ask yourself the question, at what cost? Hi, my name's Tim Uchuk, and in this podcast, we're going to be exploring the tools, tactics, and strategies for crushing it and scaling your business without making the ultimate sacrifice of your time and freedom. Hey, what's up, guys? Tim Uchuk here. Hope you're doing awesome. Whenever you're listening to this episode, I thought I would hop on. I wanted to share one of my favorite rituals, one of my favorite habits that I think could help you if you're not already doing it. It's something you should cultivate, try to build into your day, especially these days with all of the technology, the applications, the notifications, all of this noise. If you think back to the 80s, the 90s, before the smartphone, this stuff really didn't exist. And like the brains of my kids, I think about this all the time, they're just going to be so different, the brains versus like somebody who grew up in before the smartphones, because we didn't have internet when I grew up. We didn't have smartphones. We spent all of our time outside riding our bikes, not looking at screens. And so my brain developed a little bit differently. And so I think it's important, especially in the face of there's artificial intelligence and there's so much tech stuff happening right now that it's important if we think that and we define true fulfillment and happiness in a way that is linked to our ability to just be present. Be present. We're social creatures, so when we're hanging out with family, with friends, our ability to actually be present in the moment without the shiny object looking at your phone constantly, right? And so, a way that you can do this, we go for walks as often as possible. I try to go for at least 5 walks a week with our kiddos. We're fortunate to live near the beach. And on our beach, we have these like big rocks. And I'm getting to what this habit is, by the way. We have these big rocks that you can walk on, and I call them smooth rock walks with our kids. But it's really beneficial for me because I'm able to tap into a form of meditation. And if you have not meditated before, I'm sure you've heard the countless studies and the benefits, which I don't need to go through, right? Meditation daily, if that's one of our habits, it reduces strength and anxiety. It improves your concentration, your ability to focus, improves your emotional well being, self awareness, immune system function, better sleep, lower blood pressure, pain, quality of life, all these benefits that we know are linked to meditation. And even like my ability to just focus and control my brain, I attribute to meditation. Now, as busy people, I mean, in my 20s, I used to be able to, I went to these meditation clinics where we would get together and we would meditate for like literally an hour of like silence, which I can't even conceive of these days with our busy household and kids. But it was pretty amazing back then. Now, what I like to do is I like to tap into it as much as possible. So there's like the strict meditation where I will either meditate. I've got a couch in my office, so having the environment that cultivates and makes it easy to do these things is really important. So I have a couch, and that's primarily what I use it for. I also have a steam room, and that's primarily what I use it for is meditating. And a good way to think of it, I'll get back to the walk analogy, is instead of meditation, the analogy I use is expanding the gaps. I call it expanding the gaps, and the gaps being the moments of silence between thoughts. And it's kind of the game where I try to expand. If I'm having a steamer meditating on my couch, meditating is all about just focusing on the breath and letting those thoughts kind of pass, thinking of those thoughts as like clouds in the sky. And you do it long enough without any judgment. If a thought comes in your head, you just let it kind of float away like a cloud in the sky. Over time, eventually, you're able to expand those gaps where you're able to go and just literally focus on the breath, the gaps between thoughts, essentially. Now, that's a form of meditation is on the couch or in the steam room for me. But the other form of meditation is when we go for these walks on the beach. When I am walking on those rocks, it's easy for me to fall or slip or step on a rock that's wobbly, and I'm gonna lose it and fall. So it's a form of meditation because it forces me to. I can't think about my phone. I can't think about notifications. I have to focus on taking one step at a time. And it allows me to kind of expand those gaps and minimize those thoughts from popping into my head. I got the same benefit from I used to ride a motorcycle, which I sadly sold when we had our kids, but motorcycling is a way for me to meditate and expand the gaps as well, or it was because it's you have to be focused. The same with like snowboarding, for example. You have to if you're going down like a double black diamond, you have to be 100% present. So the ability for us to put ourselves in a position more and more, at least once a day, where we can expand the gaps and just practice, even if it's for like 2 minutes, just to put the phone aside, put the computer aside, spend a couple minutes as a gift so that you can slowly start to rewire your brain and expand those gaps so that you can cultivate again those strengths, those muscles of being able to control your thoughts, right? Rather than being the bigger picture here is being reactive, being a reactive person who reacts to the email, etc. We want to strengthen that muscle of controlling your thoughts, which allows you to control your emotions, which allows you to have better decision making, be a better leader, show up as a better partner, dad, mom, all of those things, right? So expanding the gaps. Another way to do this, so you want to if you're finding it hard to find the time, anybody can pull aside 2 minutes, and if you can find an environment that is conducive to making this an enjoyable experience. So my couch is set up in such a way like my office environment is awesome. I do that on purpose because I really enjoy being in my office, which is where I get work done. Same with the steam room. That's an environment that I upgraded because I look forward to doing it on a daily basis. So that's number one. The other piece where you can expand the gaps, where you're going to get the benefits, is at the end of the day. I try to do 1 hour unplugged every day. So typically, right at the end of my workday, it's about 4:30 in the afternoon. I make it as easy as possible for me to actually follow through, and sometimes that means shutting off my phone and putting it in my desk drawer so that I'm not tempted, because if it's there, I will just unconsciously grab my phone, pick it up, and look at it. So sometimes we have to put guardrails in place, and for me, I can expand those gaps because the phone it's like that gateway to the opposite of expanding your gaps. It's the gateway to like just constant ideas popping into your head, right? The context shifting, the looking at the notifications, the email, the social media. It's the opposite of expanding the gaps. And so if it's the gateway to that, then it follows. And we want to strengthen our that muscle, the ability to focus, the ability to be present, the ability when you're on vacation. If you're walking, like we spent 3 weeks in Hawaii, if I didn't work on this ability and we're walking in just the most amazing, beach with my kids and with my family, if I hadn't practiced the ability to like be present, I wouldn't have been there mentally. I wouldn't have enjoyed that moment. I would have been still at the office mentally, but my physical body in Hawaii, right? It's so important. And the people that you're with, that's why they say pay attention, spend time. Paying attention is very tied to this, right? And your kids, one of the biggest gifts you can give them is not monetary, it's your attention. It's paying attention and spending time. And so this is very much also linked to the ability to be just present as a person. So 1 hour unplugged, if you can add that to your daily routine, huge gift. That's what I do. And it feels awesome. It feels amazing. And it's a great way at the end of the day to just hit the reset button and kind of turn off the work mode and get into present mode. So you can be present with your family, etc. So, anyways, hope that helps. I don't know if I've shared that expanding the gaps with a lot of people, but it's what I think about when we're going on our walks and we're doing the walk on the rocks with my kids. I try to expand the gaps, which means moments of just being present as a dad, as a human being. So, anyways, hope that's helpful, guys. And I'd love to hear if you guys are able to experiment and try this out yourselves. Hey, Tim Uchuk here, and real quick, if you enjoyed this podcast episode, if you could take a couple quick seconds to give it a rating, it would be very much appreciated. And secondly, if you're looking for more tools and strategies on how you can crush it in life and business, just head on over to bookwithtim.com. where I've put together a free case study which shows you how to unlock unprecedented freedom today by using the 2 power levers. Just head on over to bookwithtim.com. Until next time, wishing you success and freedom in your business. Cheers.